Hello and welcome to another episode of BTech. Today we're going to be talking about this it's Champion generator that I have. And I use this to power up parts of the house when the power goes out. And I'm running it off of a natural gas line here. As you can see, gas coming in. I got this flex hose to isolate the vibration. Then I have this Sentry kit that I got for this generator. For natural gas. And then on the exhaust side, because I have it here in the garage, I didn't want any carbon monoxide leaks. So you can see the muffler in there has that gold tinge. They don't look like that when you get them. What I did is I took the muffler off and I seam welded the whole thing and leak tested it at no leaks to water. And then put a high temperature gasket sealer on, so the head gasket area is very sealed. And then I welded that flange on. It's also sealed, and you can see I put a bunch of the copper high temperature RTV around it. And that gold on the muffler is high temperature paint that I baked on. And then we have high temperature silicon coupler down there, so that isolate the vibrations. And I have this like tractor muffler that I just put on there and seam welded up, so it's not leaking. And then this goes out to double wall, which then goes up into the chimney, so it can exhaust out of the garage. And none of this gets very hot at all. It's pretty nice. And this is also a high temperature. Actually, it's the same high temperature paint as the gold, just that runs hotter, so it turned to gold color, and this one just stayed silver. I do have a carbon monoxide detector, and it's undetectable when I'm running this thing, even for hours. You can put the sniffer wherever you want. It's completely undetectable. This extra muffler just makes it a little bit quieter. Still a pretty loud thing though. Now, to put this kit on, you can see that the carburetor is right here. And then the manifold to bring the gas in is right here. And then it's the air box. It's sandwiched in between the carburetor and the air box. And then you got to modify the frame, which I just had some pipeline around, so I just welded on here and painted it so that way my airbox would fit. Now what's the problem here? The problem here is this thing is extremely difficult to start, and I'm gonna show you why. So even if you bleed in the natural gas into here, the choke is on the other side of where the gas comes in. So if you have the choke on, you're blocking the gas coming in, and the whole purpose of the choke is to pull more fuel in for the cold start. But in this case, it's actually going to reduce the vacuum because this is sitting on the other side of the choke. So it doesn't work. So what do I do at the moment? I have this multi-step starting procedure, which is kind of annoying. I have a propane tank here. This thing wouldn't run very long on the propane itself, maybe like 10 hours. But I keep the propane tank here just to get it started. It is a propane gasoline generator, but I prefer to use these gases because they burn cleaner, and I can let it sit forever and not have any issues. I don't want to get it all gummed up in there. But mainly I sort of like run off natural gas. Either way, we use that propane there because the propane comes into the carburetor side. So let's see if we can see it here. Yep. Propane is coming down into there. This is the gas line, that's the propane line. Sorry, it's hard to see, but propane comes into the carburetor because it's built to have it. So the choke works properly with the propane. Once it gets started on the propane, then I just switch the gas lines over, and then it's running off natural gas just fine. It's a little annoying to do that. I mean, honestly, it's a fine procedure, but I just want to take another look at it here. So there's a couple things I want to try today, just for fun. One is, instead of using the choke, what you have here is this air cleaner. You can see this is where it's actually bringing the air in. I'm thinking, what if we just use our hand as the choke? Will that give enough of a vacuum to pull in the natural gas to start? Super kind of simple fix. Not even a fix, more of a technique to try out. The other is this thing. It's got a pull starter there. I never use it. I have checked that the spark's nice and good, and I even have this extra ground wire running over to the spark plug there to get a good spark. I checked the spark. It's sparking real nicely. So over here has an electric start, and it's got one of those tiny little lead acid batteries there. You can see where I have my extra ground running off of it. and it doesn't turn over super fast. So the other thing is to pull that natural gas in, it really has to spin over fast, and I've noticed that it's a lot easier to start if I put a jumper pack on there. And I keep this battery charged. I typically have a triple charger on there to make it always as easy to start, but it just doesn't turn over fast enough to really pull the gas in to get it started. So we're also gonna try putting a lithium ion battery on there to see if that gets her cranking faster, so we don't have to use the jumper pack. At the end of the day, I'd like this thing to be easier to start so my wife can start it. At the moment, she got a lot of trouble starting it. She gets to start it, but it's kind of frustrating for her, so I'd like to give her some easier techniques to get it going. So without further ado, let's try out the hand choke first and see where we get to. So I'm going to start out by opening the gas lines for natural gas. I haven't started it yet today, so it's a good representation. I'm going to make sure the choke is off, which it is. Get the ignition on. My ear protection on, this thing's kind of loud. Now I'll prime it with some gas just to show you how it is without the hand choke. See, it kind of wants to start, but it doesn't really pull. So let's try putting the hand choke on. Prime it a little bit, hand choke. Prime it, hand choke. Well, that works really well. So hand choke, show you how much of a difference that makes. We're also going to put the lithium ion battery on there just to see how much faster it turns over and to see if that makes it even easier. All right, to address the battery not having enough power to crank this thing fast enough, we're going to put one of these NOCO batteries on. It's a bigger battery, plus it's lithium ion, so it should probably give a lot more current during the cranking process. Hopefully spin the starter over faster, pull the gas in, make the generator easier to start. Let's get this open. Since it's 500 amp, 4 amp hour. Charge it up with this NOCO charger and then see what type of voltage it's putting off. Thing open. There we go. They come with these brackets for mounting, all sorts of mounting stuff. That is a serious manual. Let's get to the good part, which is the battery. These are nice. I really like this. Yeah, these terminals are nice. Cool. All right, let's get it plugged in and get it on lithium ion mode. Go from there. A little bit funny that well, All right, we're on lithium mode. Well, it looks like it's charging at 13.8 volts now. And slowly climbing. Just want to measure the voltage on the battery. Put this here so you can see it. Voltage on this battery is about 12.7 compared to over 14 with lithium ion. All right, so here's the battery we took out. See how things do with the other battery. Here's the spot I took the battery out of. All right, now we're going to clean it up a little bit with the flap disc. Get rid of those sharp edges. After I cleaned it up, I'm just going to hit it with some rust reformer to prevent it from rusting. All right, so we have it all painted and sawed off. I'm just going to use some zip ties cable ties to hold it on. Till next time.